What's going on, YouTube? It's SC, the place to be. Chill, Mr. A&D, and not Deion Sanders at prime time.
All right.
Tell me you're not in the mood by not telling me you're not in the mood.
Nah, I just got some food delivered. What's up, everybody?
Oh, Postmates, Grubhub, DoorDash, my company.
Good soul food.
Huh?
Tell me some good soul food.
Yo, I low-key want to ask you what's on that plate, because I know chicken's on that plate. You're not going to answer me, though?
Okay. Yeah. I can feel some food.
All right, audience, he ain't going to tell me. Welcome back to the Midweek Wrestling Review. We got NXT and AEW this week. A lot of shit happening. Obviously, we're not going to go deep dive into it on this review because we got the podcast later on. I understand that we're behind, like a little behind on the podcast and stuff like that, but we got that to talk about too because NXT. This is the first NXT that's showing the new logo, the new season premiere, however they want to call it, is tonight, and it's the 3-year anniversary of Dynamite. But yes, there's also that drama that's going on with Sammy Guevara and Andrade. That's going. I'll touch briefly on that, but we will mostly deep dive into that onto the wrestling podcast this weekend. After, of course, Extreme Rules, which you guys can check out the predictions that me and Primetime did. Also, I probably should have changed them after Raw, but that's what it was. So, without any further ado, let's just get right on in the NXT here. Like I said, it's going to be more of a recap because I just caught off clips of NXT. I didn't actually sit there and watch the, NXT and things like that. So, I do know that they're getting ready to, pre-days will have a main event. Their main event, but they're going to have a match tonight. Carmelo Hayes take on the Aurora Messiah type dude. It's I think one of the guys that's going to be in the ladder match at Halloween Havoc. It's going to be a 5-way ladder match for the North American Championship. Carmelo Hayes wins that one. And then Andre Chase comes out. Did somebody say Andre Chase? He goes up against Von Wagner. The winner is going to qualify for the ladder match at Halloween Havoc, and Von Wagner wins. I'm not really that surprised. I honestly, I thought the way Andre Chase was trying to get a little bit over, they was going to probably put Andre Chase into the matchup, but I guess they didn't want to do that. After the match, Wesley comes out there and he starts fighting Carmelo Hayes, stuff like that, because I guess he stayed out there after the match. I really didn't see. Lash Legend takes on Wendy Chu. Wendy Chu picks up the win over Lash Legend. Gigi Dolan and JC Jane taking on Nikita Lyons and Zoe Stark. This is obviously trying to set up them for the NXT Women's Tag Team Championship. Zoe Stark and Nikita Lyons win. Now they're starting to wear matching clothes, so I know that's something that Prime can appreciate. Them wearing the matching clothes. Grayson Waller, host of the Grayson Waller.
They still ain't winning, so it don't matter.
Well, they beat Toxic Attraction.
Yeah, but the Toxic Attraction not the champs.
Oh, well, yeah, you know you got to build them up, though. Maybe they're not going to win. Grayson Waller hosts the Grayson Waller Effect, which is like the Cutting Edge or the MVP Lounge or Piper's Pit or what was Chris Jericho's show? And he had
Highlight Reel.
The Highlight Reel, yeah. And on there is Corey Jade and Roxanne Perez. They're just going to squash their beef at Halloween Havoc. So then he spins the wheel to make the deal, and then it turns out to be a Weapons Wild match. So an Extreme Rules or a hardcore matchup. I mean, like, okay, sure. I figured that was going to be the case for Halloween Havoc. Yeah, you just keep it simple. Duke Hudson takes on Julius Creed. Julius Creed just basically squashes the shit out of Duke Hudson and wins the matchup. Brutus beats him down, and then what's that guy's name? Damian Kemp. He cuts a promo and he said he wants to challenge Julius to a matchup, and if Julius loses, then Brutus is out of NXT. What? I was like, how does that make sense? Why break up a tag team for no apparent reason? I was like, because this whole Diamond Mine shit, it's just done. It's over.
Well, Vince is good for doing that.
Yeah, he is. What I'm saying, but I was like, I would figure that they will. I mean, I don't think Julius is gonna lose, but I was like, obviously y'all will want the Creed brothers up on the main roster or keep them as a team because they work better as a team. Even though people are high on Julius, it's kind of like how people are high on Montez Ford. But Damian Kemp challenges him in an ambulance. I mean, Julius Creed challenges him in an ambulance match. I said, okay. I did not see that one coming. So I'm just like, okay, well, this is probably the first ambulance match in NXT history, I believe it is. So, sure.
I think so.
Yeah. Hank Walker takes on Zion Quinn. Zion Quinn wins. It was a lot of short matches on NXT. Then we had Pretty Deadly taking on the brawling brutes of Pete Dunne and Ridge Holland. So this was actually a pretty good matchup that went the longest out of any matchup on NXT, and Pretty Deadly won the matchup. They have this move that I do like. Trust me, the dark haired one is like, okay, the blonde haired one is like in the corner with his back turned, his head down. Then the dark haired one is on his back. He kind of pops his back up and he launches the dark haired one into a code breaker into the opponent. I thought it looks way better than how I'm explaining it. But I'm trying to tell you, but I was like, that's actually a pretty dope looking move. I wanted to make sure I get that out there. Also, but yeah, when it comes to the new NXT thing, it's not like they went back to the whole black and gold. We're not dealing with a black ring mat. We're not doing, the greatest. It looks just like 2.0, except they got rid of all of the rainbow shit, and then they just put the white and gold NXT logo on there and the entranceway, and it has more of the gold smoke. If they're gonna go over time and change more things, sure, but that whole black and gold era is done, and we still got the nice bright type of style. So I guess that's the way they're going to be going from now on. They just wanted to get rid of the rainbow logo, I'm guessing. So you were right, Prime. Ain't much of a change. Which, I know you're going to take, good credit for. But why are you so much on that?
I knew they weren't going to change it that much.
Yeah. But now it's time to go on to AEW Dynamite. It is Wednesday, and you do know what that means. Scissor me, daddy. We're in Washington, D.C.
Backstage assault.
Yeah. Yo, what? Okay, real quick. Okay, so it's gonna give you time to eat your soul food. I gotta say this real quick, man, because Tony Khan, what the fuck is going on in your company? This is not the first time. CM Punk was right about something. We work with a bunch of children. There is children backstage. This is a 3-year anniversary, the Dynamite anniversary, and yet we have reports of another backstage fight between Andrade El Idolo and Sammy Guevara. Now, here's the thing. I like I said, TMZ reported it. Now, I know how people feel about TMZ and them just airing out people's business and being dirty and slimeball, shit like that. But a lot of shit's not wrong. And their sources confirmed this fight that happened. I know AEW trying to keep it up under wraps because they don't want more embarrassment, especially when we're still not over the CM Punk versus the Elite fight that happened backstage last month. They're still under investigation, whatever that means. So something, like I said, we will talk more about it in detail on the podcast, but some things were said. Drives some things about Sammy Guevara in the interview, talk about how Sammy used to bitch about him hitting him too hard, and then Sammy got in his feelings and talked about some. I never came to you that that's a lie, you bitch, and why don't you just go? You're a jobber, and it's your fault that you failed twice, and you only got here because Ric Flair is your father-in-law. All that other bullshit. And then Andrade started, tweeting back and saying, I don't give a fuck about getting fired and shit like that. And then he started doing the cryptic tweet. Even your boy Ricky Starks had to come on there and say, yo, can my coworkers stop fucking arguing over on Twitter, like online? And then he deleted his tweet. So people getting frustrated back there. There have been reports of people being frustrated with Sammy Guevara backstage, because these backstage brawls and fights have been happening. Out of the ones that's been happening, the common denominator has been Sammy Guevara. Believe it or not, the Eddie Kingston one that first happened, then we had the CM Punk one, then we got this one. Something's going on backstage, and Tony Khan is like not.
I feel like it's definitely Sammy trying to go as far as he can.
Like, when you say go for, you mean like in the company, or just trying to see just being an asshole?
Yeah, the second one.
Yeah, I was just like, okay, what the seriously, what the fuck is going on here? It was making no sense. It was actually getting me angry, and I was just like, because why can't we get a good head on our shoulders and move forward? It's a 3-year anniversary, and finally the show was because last week's show that we didn't get a chance to talk about was not that great at all. This one was better, and they were saying punches were thrown, and once again, who started the fight and everything like this. But I'm like, I keep hearing this name, Sammy Guevara, and I'm like, something had to happen. I don't think the honeymoon phase could be over. Obviously, it is over, but it's like Tony Khan. This all falls on Tony Khan. And he has to get his shit in check. He has not been doing it. And I don't know if he's still trying to be everybody's friend or what's coming up. And because if Sammy Guevara was involved in this, but he sent Andrade home. Because remember, Andrade was supposed to have a match with 10 from the Dark Order. A match versus career match on Rampage. Because they were doing an extended anniversary special with a live Rampage this Friday. They sent, and a Battle of the Belts 4. Which is all this Friday. They sent him home, but yet Guevara's in the main event and gets the pinfall win. How does that happen? I don't know. I'm about to say that shouldn't even have happened, because you get the pin. It's like, how can you send Andrade home when it seems like Andrade ain't the one who started this? Because Andrade was answering questions in an interview. Not social media. He didn't put shit out on Instagram or Twitter. He was in an interview. And then all this stuff happens, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, it's saying it would happen with Eddie Kingston. Like, how does Eddie get suspended? And Sammy is like, egging this shit on, and he's still on the show.
And winning.
Like, how it's like, now I'm starting to see a pattern here, and I'm just like, how is this shit possible? Because they had no problem suspending Eddie Kingston at all. Wait, and then Sammy was still fucking there, and I'm just like, but now when this happened, Andrade's matches dropped. Andrade's home, and he's in the main event with Jericho, and getting the pin and winning the matchup. Now if Tony Khan, if he comes out today and says, hey, he's going to be suspended, I'm like, well. Okay, but still, that's just not, like, when you're just looking at it on face value, that's not a good look. You feel what I'm saying? So, to get in this, we have Taz, Tony Schiavone on the commentary. I don't know if they had Excalibur, but whatever it was flowing tonight with just them two. We start off with MJF versus Wheeler Yuta. William Regal did join it for the broadcast. It's been 129 days since MJF's last night, like wrestling. So now it's been a long time. So him and Wheeler Yuta had a great matchup. They got the crowd hot for it. They was doing some classic wrestling, moves like a Ring of Honor show. Some people will say a lot of reversals. A lot of no selling, and a lot of kickouts and things like that. But the thing was was a pretty good matchup. And then MJF tried to go for a tombstone from the top, but then Will Yuta reverses it. And then as he comes down on him, MJF puts him into the salt of the earth armbar. That he kind of reverses it and does a modified one. Will Yuta taps out, but then he goes to give him the the Ring of Honor handshake type deal. And MJF is about to do the handshake, but then Stokely Hathaway, eating a pear, comes out with I forgot who attacked Wheeler Yuta, who came down as well. And then they gave him the Dynamite Diamond Ring to hit Wheeler Yuta with. And then Lee Moriarty, he comes down there and beat him up. He said, I didn't ask you to do that. But then Will Real comes down, he's about to hit Wheeler Yuta with the ring, and then he has the brass knuckles in his hand. He says, "Oh, you hit me." Instead of Wheeler Yuta, you hit me, but then MJF goes off. So it's like, I understand they trying to tease a little kind of face type thing on, because the people was hot for MJF, but that's the great dynamic of his character, because he can be bullshit, but then on top of that, you just never know what to expect with MJF, and I think that's what makes a good character. Darby Allin is up next, taking on Jay Lethal, and I thought it was a pretty good matchup. Jay Lethal wanted Satnam Singh and you know how I'm talking about, Sanjay Dutt up there on the stage. The matchup, like I said, was pretty good. Darby Allin hit him with the was it the Last Supper type of pin? That little crazy pin that he got that nobody kick out of. So he does that. He tells Jay Lethal to shake his hand. He said, "You one of the best that ever did it, and you don't need to be siding with them. Shake my hand." They kind of slapped him to make him shake his hand. He shook his hand and then walked off. And then Satnam Singh and Sanjay Dutt was like, kind of like in shock with this. I'm still a little mad at Satnam Singh didn't get powerbombed by Wardlow, but
I told you nobody cared about the powerbomb. At a certain point, nobody even cared.
I know. I just want to see that big son bitch get dropped. Speaking of big son bitches, though, TNT Open Challenge, Wardlow taking on Brian Cage. They found Brian Cage with Prince Nana. First of all, this new group that he's with, what's that shit called? With Prince, the Firm? No, not the Firm. It's something else. It is something else. I don't know what it is, but I'm telling you, this shit looks terrible. And he, it's not called the Association or something like that, but it is I don't know what it is, but
I forgot what it's called, but it was originally they were originally managed by Tully Blanchard.
The Embassy, there it goes. The Embassy is what they're called. I'm like, who are these guys? And Brian Cage don't fit in this at all.
Yeah, he don't. But the guy, Khan, everybody say everybody say he look like Roman. So I'm like, okay.
He does look like Roman a little bit. Khan and was it Gates of Agony or whatever. Guys, like they both. It looks like a Pakistani type of stable. And then this Prince Nana guy is fucking. I mean, when you talk about cooning, I'm talking about this. This is what this guy reminds me of. I'm like, he probably got to be one of the worst black managers I've seen. I'm not feeling this guy at all. I'm not feeling this group. I'm like, why does Brian Cage need this shit? He don't need this. He's good without it, because this right here was a damn good matchup between these two artists. They were just sitting there doing power moves to each other, doing moonsaults. Wardlow hit a whisper in the wind. I'm dead serious. He hit a Hurricane Rana on Brian Cage. Brian Cage tried to hit a 619, which I don't think. See, there's some things that big guys don't need to be doing because this doesn't look good. And a 619 is not what Brian Cage should be doing. But then Wardlow gets a couple of headbutts in on Brian Cage and gives it a powerbomb symphony. Gives him 4 powerbombs and wins the match. So then that's when the Embassy comes out and they start attacking Wardlow. The Samoa Joe comes out. The War Joe comes out and starts fighting them, and then the numbers take advantage of them. Then FTR finally, where's FTR been at? Come down and they join the fray and they clear house of the Embassy. And then so That's what that was. Early in the day, Britt Baker, DMD, had a message for the fans saying that Saraya, oh, I think Saraya, she pronounces it, will not be competing in AEW. Doctors have not cleared her, so guess that makes this my house now. Which is just leading to a trios match of Toni Storm, Athena, and Willow Nightingale with Saraya taking on Jamie Hayter, Penelope Ford, and Serena Deeb. It was good to see the women out there because, you know, they don't showcase the women that well in the first place. But the matchup was, like I said, it was alright. There's enough for people to get their stuff in. The match ends when Penelope Ford gets like a sit-down powerbomb by Willow Nightingale and loses the matchup. Every time I see Penelope Ford in a matchup, I'm just like, she's taking the pin. That's just the way it is. Every time I see her, should it be that way? No, but that's how I feel every time I see her in a match. Like, especially a tag team match.
She's like the diva in the Women's Revolution.
Yeah. But she's very athletic, though.
What else?
Yes. You're right. I'm going to say she's very athletic. I remember when she was doing them all-in shows and she was sitting there doing the little backflips and doing the hurricane and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's when she was a manager. When she wasn't wrestling full time, she was just there to be a manager.
Yeah, you're right. But afterwards, Britt Baker jumped into the ring, got in the face of Saraya, and then her and Saraya just started fighting. You know, in the ring. They sold it out to everybody. Just started brawling in the ring, and I'm just like, okay, here's the thing. If she's cleared to go, should have saved it. If she's not cleared to go, you should have did this then. I don't think this accomplished anything. I'm just like, I think this gave the fans a false sense of hope here. To be completely honest with you, that's just my opinion of it. Do you have an opinion of seeing her go out there just throw blows of Britt Baker? Whatever the opinion is, we'll move on to it's time for the National Scissoring Day celebration with the Acclaim and Billy Gunn. So of course they come out with the rap, and they're in Washington D.C. So you definitely know Max Caster talked about the senators and Joe Biden and all them. So you know it was a decent ass rap. And then the Acclaim have a ride, scissor me, daddy. And so Bones got on the mic. And he talked about this is the first annual National Scissoring Day. It's a very special night. And they talked about how they were homegrown talent. They weren't teams that were put together, randomly taking a shot at WWE and taking a shot at Swerve and Keith Lee, and how that everybody likes the Acclaim. So, and thank you for making our t-shirts the best-selling AEW t-shirts this year. They got New Jersey out, which I think I really want to try to get. And
I might get the shirt.
Say what?
I might get the shirt.
Yeah. Then it says, because first of all, y'all, we was with the Acclaim before the Acclaim was hot, so I want to put that out there right now. Or was that just me?
No, the Acclaim been should have. Well, the Acclaim been over, but then they got more over.
Yeah, because I'm saying
just at the shows.
Because the Acclaim is on my fantasy points.
Now they weren't that over to where they was winning now, but.
No, but I still picked the Acclaim. I was a fan of the Acclaim.
Yeah.
So I'm just showing you how far back it go. So with that, he said AEW stands for Acclaim every Wednesday. Now it's called Celebration. So, and we celebrate by scissoring. A salute, a scissoring is a handshake, a sign of friendship. People want to celebrate by a real team. So, Billy Gunn, Daddy Ass's house. He says, now, if everybody in the building, he went down to the city hall today. He said, yeah, I'm an important person. And he handed them giant gold scissors. So, Cash talks about National Scissors Day comes to a close. He will talk about greatness. 40 years ago, this city won a Super Bowl. My dad was on that championship team. Never knew Max Caster's dad played football. So I got to look up.
He tries to hide it.
What'd you say?
He tries to hide it.
Is he ashamed of his daddy or something?
No, he just don't want to mention it.
Oh, when he mentioned, I was just like, I never I was like, now I gotta look up who his dad is.
Yeah, exactly. That's why he didn't want to mention it.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm just saying it's gonna call. I was like, I didn't know Subo Washington Redskins back in them days. So hey,
Yeah, he didn't want. I guess nepotism.
Fair.
Yeah.
And then he said Subo is his prime possession. He achieved greatness just like that, and he claims greatness when we won the AEW Tag Team titles. And then then he also said that since we're in DC, he our country's so divided. He wants to bring everybody together by scissoring. So no matter if you're red, blue, Democrat, Republican, doesn't matter. We're going, everybody can agree that we all like the Acclaim. Scissor me, daddy. And then Swerve comes out, trying to look like The Rock, with the turtleneck and the gold chain on and everything there. He said, this is the most idiotic thing I've ever seen. Congrats on your #1 selling t-shirt at AEW.com. These are the role models you want for your children. If it wasn't for Billy, we'll still be the AEW Tag Team Champions. So Swerve wants to match with Billy Gunn next week in Toronto. Smart Mark Sterling tries to interrupt in the ring, but it's just for them to beat him down. So that's what it was. And first of all, this segment was actually pretty good. If you got the chance, go back and check it out. It was a really good segment by the Acclaim. It was everything that we liked about wrestling in the segment. So that was good. Hangman Page taking on Roosh. And I did not get a chance to really see this matchup. So I miss I think Hangman won after he hit the buckshot lariat, and because Roosh hit a straight jacket pile driver for a near fall. Then on Page got out of it, stuff like that. I didn't see the stuff about Private Party or John Moxley, things like that. But I'm gonna go down to they had Luchasaurus beating Fuego del Sol in a squash match, and then Jungle Boy comes down, starts chase him away with the steel chair, and talks about how we were best friends and everything we've been through together. You broke my heart, man. You broke my heart. But now I'm going to break your fingers. I'm going to break your nose. I'm going to break your arm, and I'm going to break your piece by miserable piece and stuff like shit like he was saying that. You pick the time and the place, and I'll be ready. And Christian Cage said, "Well, I told you not to come back here this week. This time next Wednesday on Dynamite in his hometown in Canada. That's probably where the match is going to happen at." Now we got the Ring of Honor Pure Champion Daniel Garcia and Bryan Danielson taking on the Ocho, is what he calls himself now. He's not the Wizard. He's the Ocho now. Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara in a tag team matchup. Even though what's going on with Sammy Guevara, the tag team matchup was pretty good. They really got stuff in. They both did hot tags to Jericho and Garcia. They came in kind of like paused for a minute, and then Guevara tried to jump down, but Garcia hit him, and then they went at it. So I didn't know it was going to be a swerve or not, but they did go at it. On the outside, Jericho suplexes Bryan Danielson through the timekeeper's table, which leaves Daniel Garcia by himself. But he has that submission hold he had on Jericho, like he had on Willie Uta a couple weeks ago. But then he had on Sammy Guevara, and then Jericho hits him with the Ring of Honor Championship, lays him out, and then Guevara goes for the pin, and they win the matchup. And that's how Dynamite.
Crazy.
Would you say what?
Crazy. They let Sammy get the pin too.
Yes, and let him get the pin too. I was like, that's just ass water. But that was the quick recap of NXT and Dynamite this week. I thought Dynamite had the better show, especially with the 3-year anniversary. But obviously, it's been clouded by all the necessary bullshit that's been happening with the show. So please make sure you guys check out NXT and the Dynamite. Mostly the Dynamite and the Acclaims segment this week. I thought
that was the best segment.
That was the best thing going. So make sure you guys check that out. But in the meantime, we're going to be getting up out of here. So this is a NC and a place to be. Children, Mr. Andy. If you guys enjoyed the show, make sure you like, subscribe, and share. And make sure this is also not Deion Sanders for Prime Time.
It's been real.
And the Nerd Coalition is out.